Hi, folks. Nick Tucker there with the Historical Fencing Guild. I am skating in at the last minute because of some exciting stuff, but I am so glad to be here. Before I get into what's going on, let's talk a little shop. First off, the Historical Fencing Guild is made possible by viewers like you. Yes, folks. If you go to patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild, you too can donate as little as $1 a month to help me keep this little channel going. And there are such big things that are right on the cusp. That's part of why I was running so late. I've been saving the money from the Patreons for a long time because it's not a large amount of money. I am grateful for it. But I'm going to be using that to upgrade our facilities. I'm going to be using that to upgrade my streaming stuff. Basically, between that and some contract work I've been doing with some lovely folks that I've known through Luke Stone Studios, I'm going to be doing a lot. So there's good stuff. Speaking of Luke Stone Studios, they're also one of our supporters. And there you can find Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, the role-playing game. Yes, folks, if you want to enjoy a rules-light, fun-to-play, modern role-playing system that's set in the Hybrids universe full of intrigue and eventually superheroes, well, get this. This is going to be a rare commodity because at the end of the year, we're going to be switching up to all sorts of things. We're the full version. And, of course, my normal stuff is the Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe, both available through Amazon. These lovely beat-up copies are my personal copies that I use to reference when I'm teaching people the basics of how to sword fight and use axes and how to help develop your skills. I am so behind, I haven't even thrown on my emergency Hawaiian shirt of broadcasting. Yes, folks, I'm pulling a complete Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in this list field, a beautiful day for a sword fight. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? And the calculator popped up on my screen. Now I can do what can be seen. Alrighty. Yeah, folks, we are coming live as only one of my broadcasts can. Sorry, my wall is tottering. Got some House of Usher vibes here. But you know what? We're still standing. All right. Wow. I'll pop through the lovely comments real quick, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what's going on, what's coming down the pipe, and what I am so excited to talk about real soon. But first one through the door is our dear friend Foxy. Evening, Foxy. Glad to see you. Hope Thesis is feeling at least functional. Cindy Kep, our perpetual underdog, here she comes to save the day. And yes, the PBS of YouTube. I try to provide mostly free to you education and entertainment and edutainment somewhere in between. Bladed Thesis says, Happy Friday, Sword family. Happy Friday, Thesis. You rest, keep your hips, how you need to, but do your drills sitting down. I know it can be done because I've done it. Let's see. Not late, time warped. Woohoo! Let's do the time warp again. Yes. Boink. And waved, time warped, or just warped? Wait, waves? Yeah, we're a little of both, folks. I'm still standing. Yeah. All right, we're still standing. I love it. Hi, Brian. We're joined in the chat by Brian K. Morris, author, artist, and creator. Now, I'm going to interrupt him to plug Cindy Kep at www.CKOEPP.com because that's what he would want me to do, folks. But in the spirit of hashtag always promote, follow this man. Go to risingtide.pub. He's an incredible supporter. He's an incredible friend. Outside of my wife, the people who taught me the sword fight, and a couple key others, no one has been more influential on my adult life than this man. At least that doesn't have my last name. It was a photo finish or an oil painting. Man, that hits Beetle Bomb energy. Beetle Bomb. But Johnny Cage says if it stands for more than 4 hours, Brian, go see a doctor. That's right. You got to keep the mojo in your dojo. We are all over it. Today's going to be one of those shows. Hopefully I won't be knocked out by forces of God and or explosions. Thank you for your patience last week. To anyone who missed that, no, I'm not joking. That actually happened. Okay. Foxy, LOL Johnny. Brad Gaymore says, LOL at Johnny Cage. I've been told to see a doctor anyway. Yes, but I don't think they meant the doctor who shows up in a big blue box, usually with a fairly attractive assistant. A companion, if you will, but not a Nara, I don't think, although I'm ready for those universes to cross. Oh, I'm doing thesis update. I'm doing great so far. Just had my second physical therapy appointment. Was told I would likely be moving from walker to cane early next week. Beautiful. As a proud, member of the Hop-Along squad, nothing wrong with that. You know what? I love you, Brian. You are one of the best people on the face of this earth, and any earth, Like, I'm sure on Earth, 1237, the diabolical Brian K. Morris is running an international evil organization. But, it's good to know that you're here on ours, keeping us safe. And I just want to thank you for being so civil about your planet exploding and having to ride that pod here and be adopted into the wilds of Illinois. And, we just love you, man. We love you. Cindy kept, wow, that's fast. Yes, folks, we are hitting things hard and fast. It is only 7 minutes, and I've caught up with the comments. Yes, it's good to be me. Now, what's on the menu? Wait. Yes, that's wow. We got more. Just hit. I've been on the walker since Sunday, but I've only been at home since Monday, so about a week of walker, and then cane, then hopefully nothing. Take it at the speed it takes, okay? Because adaptation from that kind of injury means your bad days sometimes can be bad. So don't let yourself fall in the trap of not allowing it to be a veritable spectrum of wellness. Because this is one thing we need to talk. And Brian says, only 7 minutes. Maybe I need to show up early and do a pre-show. Well, you can try. I usually only open it fairly close because I set everything up and then I share it around to make it where I'm not overwhelmed. I prep. I learned from the master. That's why I've also stopped plugging before 9 a.m., though usually I'm there. Foxy says it's worth doing right, and Kitty says, I'm proud of you, Thesis. You've made so much progress so far. Yep, you've got 2 nurses looking to take absolute care of you, and bless you for being blessed. But, yes, folks, while the chat goes for just a second, one thing you have to earn, once you've had a major life-changing injury, a replacement, severe damage, you can only do the best you're capable of any given day. And that's a sliding scale. So, like me, the weather is very, very dependent on what I can do. I used to go out in all sorts of weather, do all sorts of things, and the compiled injuries now let me know today would it be a good idea, or it would be a good idea. But it's careful. Don't push beyond a healthy discipline, okay? Let yourself heal at the rate you need to heal. Okay. Thesis says, Foxy's already told me not to push myself hard. I'm just used to things working, and now they work slower. Just let it happen. This is why mastery is important. Let's talk about this. This is a great lead into one of my favorite subjects, understanding mastery. Because there's this illusion of being faster and being better and being stronger. and even being able to outlast your opponents, which I'm notorious for. Duration. But a big part of it is knowing the basics so well you don't need to rely on the dramatic, excessive things. This is why I tell people you need precision and accuracy and being able to pull it in to minimal effort. Why? Because as we age, it costs more like MP to pull off something cool. Okay? So you have to be very, very, very careful. And when you have a chance, because it really, believe it or not, it's a weird perspective, but injury is an opportunity to restudy the basics that built you. And when you have a limitation, it lets you focus on, okay, I can't do that, so I don't need to worry about it. Discard it and work on what you can to its highest principle. That's where you're going to transcend, and the whole, you're going to be, Theseus the Gray fell off and hurt his hip. Theseus the White will arise. It's different. Yep. Sidney Kemp says, speaking as one who breaks the don't push yourself too hard. Just don't. Oh yeah, we are all, we could sit in a circle and say, hi, my name is Nick, and I push myself too hard. Hi, Nick. And it wouldn't be inaccurate. Yep, don't do my dumb. Yep. I think several years of Tai Chi Bagua has given me pretty good root. My PT was impressed by how much I've improved in just 2 days. Yes. Physical education is a real concept, folks. It's part of why I teach Western martial arts. And we approach it wrong. We approach it physical education as something not to think about. It's something you're taught in school, but it's not really treated with the respect I think it deserves. Learning good form in anything you're doing, that from how to lift weights to calisthenics to how to run, how to move, how to swim, and move efficiently in a way you can consistently recreate it, is what's going to help you as you age. And I'm 41. Woo! I know. I could probably get my AARP on my picture alone. But I still do things that I was doing 20, 30 years ago, just slower and more careful. There is this use it and then break and not be able to mentality where everything's full burn in America. And you don't get anywhere at full burn. You rock it. You don't want anything you do, from being an author to being a creative to learning to sword fight to playing a game. You don't want to be a bottle rocket. No, you want to be a flare. You want to get up there and do your business as long as you can before you come drifted down. That's the arc I've aimed for, and it's really showing the long-term benefits. Whoops, let's see. That was cute. Brian's comment hopped 3 others up. Well done, Brian. Wednesday, I couldn't do a straight leg raise from a sitting position at all. Today, I could lift a leg about an inch off the chair. Just build on it and build slowly, okay? 41. You have a ways to catch up. Yes, I do. And that's one thing. Remember, there's beware of gray-haired men in dangerous fields. Dangerous jobs. This is the old firefighter is old because he knows stuff. The old cop is old because he knows stuff. The old soldier, anybody doing that for a living and is still old and gray and still doing it, they've outlived people. There's stuff to be learned. I don't understand why America fears age. There's a perspective there that needs to be admired. And yes, Cindy and I chuckle and you said, I catch it in the field I'm in. When I talk to sword fighters and stuff, I get guys out half my age, almost a third my age with some of the teenagers I've been known to work with. Yeah, it's different. And, I've known some devastating 60, 70-year-old fencers. And I looked at what they do, and I look at the ones who can't walk right. A lot of the hard art guys. And I think I want to be on that path. And I really encourage that path. Yes, Foxy, be the tortoise. Giant Cage says, I like rockets. Phallic shapes make me laugh. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, but you want to keep your duration up. You don't want to be a, Foxy says, because age means wisdom, and wisdom can be dangerous to the status quo. It's hard to fool somebody who's seen it a lot. It's a doozy. Thesis says, I will be turning 42 in October. This was my first surgery ever. My orthopedic surgeon said if I was going to have a first one, I picked a good first one. Yeah, and see, one thing about you, Thesis, is I wouldn't put you over 35. You're a young-looking dude. You are well preserved. Whereas I started going gray at 15 and walking with a cane by the time I was in my 20s. So people have been adding a decade or two to my age, and I have to keep up, At my day job, for a long time until there was turnover, I was older than everyone in my department, including my boss. I've already been there a couple times, and it's weird. It's also weird to be older than your boss and have them try to speak down to you in kid terms. That one's weird too. So yeah, it's rough. In fact, most of my coworkers were young enough they could have been in one of my fourth grade classes. So they were 8 to 13 years old between 1999 and 2013. Yeah, before I moved down from the Portage region, I would encounter people who were functioning adults that I was a long-term sub for like 10 years, I think. Not as long as you, but I did a lot of substitute teaching. I almost always, until this recent bit, had multiple jobs at one time. Always, just in case something went wrong. Jobs and taking classes, But yeah, it's strange to see somebody you literally change their diapers on, professionally as an adult. But yeah, yay! People think Thesis and I are younger than we are. I think that comes from maintaining a sense of wonder. I think the single greatest key to being young, mentally, is the flexibility that comes from a true sense of wonder. I can step out my door and I'll see something that's beautiful or impressive or something that I haven't seen before. Maybe it's a different flower, maybe it's a car that goes by, maybe it's birds, maybe it's just the painting in the sky. But and I've tried really hard, I've worked to never become so grounded I can't find that. And it's interesting because I read it first in a Star Trek novel that was about the Mirrorverse. Yes, I'm that big of a dork. That at 30, you will get the wrinkles that will be established of your primary expression. Now, aside from the fact that I don't sleep, and I was up at 4:30 this morning, folks. So I had to take a nap this afternoon to get Mandy to a medical. Mandy had a minor surgery. She is okay. In fact, she's much better for having it, but there's been some scary stuff. So when we got home and everybody was okay, I did it's fine now. Now I will crash. But so I saw the lines of your primary expression will be etched on your face at 30. And that tells you what somebody's emotional state usually is. And when I looked at that time, I have a few more since then. I had just these 2 lines right here. And I leaned in the mirror. I went, wonder what those. My primary expression has been raised eyebrows in a sense of wonder or confusion or amusement. And I find that absolutely fascinating. And it's delightful because, you see the people with the pronounced, Mr. T is one of them. He spent so many years scowling. His face is, you hold that face long enough, it sticks that way. And, yeah, you get that. I have a little bit of smile line. I have no problem with that either. Let's see, I've been told that a lot, actually, Nick, but thanks. One time a coworker asked, Foxy asked to see my ID at her work because I didn't think I was old enough to buy a condom. That's delightful. My 30th birthday, I both got carded for an R-rated movie that would be, I needed to replace Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton brilliant movie. And I got the senior menu at Denny's without asking because they just assumed. Same day, a couple hours apart. Which, there's no age on, so that's weird. Yeah. Kitty, I was born in 1990. Hey, you know what? You are among some of your elders, and if you're smart, you'll just learn more stuff. It's okay. I have no problem. Shoot, you're an adult. That's all that matters. I understand that, and it's okay. It's okay. Sleep now. That is one of mine. I hold it together while the storm's going on, and then as soon as everybody's okay, I just boom out nap. Johnny Cage, 98, feeling like I'll be dumb and young forever. First off, it is staggering how incredibly talented an artist you are at 24 or 23. You have, before we go any farther, Johnny Cage is an amazing artist. Just fundamentally, you're one of those people that people need to watch because if there was justice in this world, you'd be on the path of a J. Scott Campbell. Foxy says 83. You aren't the youngest one in the room, kitten. I love smile lines, but that's about it. I have smile lines, but that's about it. Yeah, and that's okay. Now, I know we've gotten into source, but I want to get especially the young people. It's tempting to look at the old guy and write him off. Now, don't assume that just because they're older, they know better. I've seen enough of that BS to know that's not true. And there are a couple people that because of my nature, I do not wish ill toward, who've affected me per se. And I have, it may take work to be there, but I won't mourn their passing either. And they were older than me, and some taught me things that I disagree with, and some believe. The trick with being younger is try to understand what they're doing and do the parts you like and disregard the rest. I'm serious. Let's see. Foxy pasted and talked on Discord while I was in surgery, then crashed when they brought me back to the room, or at least that's what she tells me. I don't remember a thing. That happens. Well, sort of crashed, not. You know that thing about age and wisdom? Kitty, bless you, said, speaking of swords, Thesis told me I'm not allowed to tie a rope to my halati. And if I pronounce that right, a halati is basically, if you think of a water buffalo's horn shape where it goes like this and it curves out, it's a double-bladed dagger. No. Now, if you want to do one, rope dart is fine. That is sufficient. But I don't like blades that point back at me, especially on something you have to manipulate on the end of a wibbly rope. No. I would literally be more comfortable with you practicing Flow Mayhem fire rope darts than I would a double-bladed implement on the end of a string. I'm sorry, it's just not safe. I don't feel publicly or privately comfortable in ever condoning something like that. We want you to stay here. We want you to be healthy and alive so that you can learn and then maybe pass on what you've learned to other people. That's my goal. I see myself as the kind of person who goes around planting trees knowing I'll probably never get to sit under their shade. No, no fire. Last thing we need. I'm burned enough for everyone. Oh, did you get a sunburn, hon? I bet you did. Run fairs are great for getting them. Unless something else happened, which, please, I hope nothing bad happened. Kitty, who's restoring my faith in humanity a word at a time. I'm doing my rope dart and practicing Halati separately. Mostly I was joking. I just want to see how you reacted. Yeah, I see. Here's the thing. Hold on. I always react. I always react because there's a lot of responsibility when you are training martial arts. A lot of karmic debt if you're not very careful, because everything I teach has violent applications, and I'm aware of it. That's just the reality. You could be as safe as you want. I mean, I've seen people who've had their corneas torn by boffers. I've seen people severely hurt sword fighting. I have been severely hurt doing what I do, and that was by accident. With malice, a lot of this could be, well, it is a weapon-based martial art. So I have to always treat it with the respect that I try. And so I love creativity, but you have to be safe with it. So you'll always get a good jump out because I kind of have to take it seriously every time I deal with it. Let's see. I did that day, then today walking to the store and back. Foxy, get yourself a floppy hat, because 1, floppy hats are hot. 2, put some sunscreen on, huh? I come in 2 colors, pale and red. There is no tanning. This is like the tannest I've ever been in my life, you know? Blades at the end of chains and ropes make me cringe, even the proper ones. I don't like flail weapons. I do find the rope dart weapons fascinating. I dabbled in it years ago. I don't currently have the fine hand release because of the nerve damage to do it anymore. But yes. Well, okay. This says, actually, the sunburn comes from her walking to the store and shopping for us since I can't go shopping anymore. You need to just get yourself a floppy hat. Floppy hat. Hawaiian shirt, maybe sundress. Clunky boots. You'll turn heads. Oh, I went full fashionista on there. That's okay too. It's a freaking block to the store and I'm toasted. Well, yeah, you live in a very toasty place. Kitty says, I was lucky enough to find a stick that's vaguely shaped like a halati so I could practice with it until I get a real one. Wow. Okay. Floppy hats are the bomb. See? Sombrero! I wouldn't wear a sombrero where you live. I wouldn't. I'm the same way, white and red, although I can tan somewhat. I wore a sundress and my shoulders are red. Absolutely. LOL, she got a sundress for Mother's Day, and she was wearing it today. Awesome. Nothing lotion and rust. Ocean Potion. Now, there's a knockoff. You can get it at Walmart. It's aloe vera, lidocaine gel. I keep a bottle in the kitchen for finger burns and little hand burns because that's where I burn myself the most. Why would I keep it in the bathroom when I burn myself in the kitchen? So you have all my kitchen-y stuff, and then there's a big blue bottle that you go I love that stuff. I am not a medical professional. This is just my own personal experience. Please consult a medical professional if you have any questions. But going back to that, one thing I love, I'm lucky enough to find a stick that's vaguely shaped like a halati, so I can practice with it until I get a real one. If you are at all crafty, we live in a wonderful age when it comes to making gear. One thing you can do is simply take if you don't feel like tracing or improvised art, you can take a photocopy, print off a black and white picture of a weapon you want to train with, cut it out, glue it to a HDPE, so that's the thick white plastic cutting board. Cut it out, and you can have great trainers. I have cut some of those. Let me see. Do I see mine? It's there, but it's off reach of camera. You know what? I'll be just a second. I'm back. Hi. These guys are two trainers I made for our old Honed in HDPE contest that I did with the guild. And I've not lost track of your comments. I will get to them in just a sec. But this was made by basically taking a rough outline. I left some of the marks largely so folks can see it, and then cutting it out. This gives a very solid, reliable, reasonably inexpensive, and I made all sorts of weapons. Some got given away. Different trainer styles out of HDPE, so they're very similar in design and function to the Purple Heart Armory basic trainers. They're just not quite as sturdy. They're not as rigid and they're not as sturdy. But when you're designing your own stuff, it's very inexpensive. And I find this to be a delightful little trainer. I will be tweaking it some more. These two may find use because they are lighter than some of the trainers I have, and I have to switch to much lighter weapons to accommodate the fact my grip is non-existent these days. So don't hesitate to upgrade your gear the way you can. It is a lot harder than it used to be. The prices for things are flying. So you need to be creative. You can find cutting boards oftentimes at Goodwills and estate sales, yard sales, very inexpensive. And then, especially if you're planning to cut them up, it doesn't matter if they're scratched up on the sides from use. So keep that in mind. Now, boop. Let's see. I really wish I had gotten a proper picture from the Ren Fair. She looked beautiful. Well, there's a simple solution to that. She has the outfit. Foxy can always do some modeling for you. That's one of the benefits of being married / associated to a beautiful woman. You have a model. Life is good. Brian says, wonderful as always, Nick. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Much love. I'll love you too, brother. I bet right about now you're slipping your way off to the green room, which is fine. Give my love to that bunch of hooligans. I adore those people. You know who I mean. I will be all over there real soon. I avoid most things because they have alcohol with the oil, so I grow my with the aloe with the oil. So I grow my own. That's wonderful. If you're doing that, that's awesome. See you soonest. Absolutely, Night Brian. We will see you real soon. And folks, if you want to see him, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Usually for about an hour and a half. Sometimes again longer. Never mind the furthermore. If you're creative, go to that. Just look up Brian K. Morris / Rising Tide. He's on YouTube. Follow him. I'm usually lurking in the chats, and I've been known to pop on his shows when invited. Boo, 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 boo. Night, Brian. I wonder if you couldn't get a hold of Purple Heart and help them design you a decent trainer. Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Give me just a second, and I will, because I want to make sure my link is working. Boink. Do 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 do. Ba 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 ba. This, boink, is my purpleheart.com affiliate link. Always use that, okay? It should work, and that should get you. It doesn't affect you at all, but I get kickbacks if you buy anything. And I would love to do that because that lets me build up my community. So whenever you go looking at Purple Heart Armory, which is out of Texas, it's an American-made, veteran-friendly firm that I really completely support, and I'm proud to have dealings with them. I've bought many trainers from them. I intend to buy more trainers from them as the situation improves. Something's updating because my internet just went doink, so I'm going to hop that. Boink, there we go. Fix that. Ha-ha! Flanked. But, yes, Purple Heart Armory is pretty much my favorite HEMA supplier. I explore others. I buy gear from Amazon. I go wherever people want me to when I review stuff. And like I said, I do have an affiliate link, but that's only... I would never, ever sacrifice my integrity for an amount of money, because that's not for sale. On a random silver lining, since thesis surgery, I've lost over 5 pounds from running. Well, you know what? That's a silver lining. And while he's getting, healing, and it's a great chance for you to get in shape and work on things till he, once his hips are compatible. Brian K. Moore, at Brian K. Morris, our lovely Cindy Cap, says, "We are missing you already. We always miss Brian when he's not in the room." And then I shared my link, and Purple Heart Armory. They make really good trainers, and Nick has an affiliate link. Plus, he's worked with them making trainers, so maybe if you mention his name, you can get attention sooner. No guarantee. I don't, I am a man of moderately small water, but absolutely give it a shot. At the worst, the more you guys talk to suppliers and talk about me, the more likely I am to be able to help you guys out. I have, on that front, I do have a bit of news that I will give you a teaser, because the full details will go to the Patreon folks probably Wednesday when I write up my Cyber Tacto. I came skating in late for me. Usually I have this whole program set up half hour before. That way I can plug it, get my drinks. I came skimming in pretty late. And that's because I was working on a deal for something special. And I want to talk about it because it's going to be a big change in a lot of things, but I can't yet. So, good things are coming. And with the major heat breaking and us getting back down to manageable heat levels, I'm hoping to get a lot of things done. But I don't think they have a Halati right now, but there's no reason you can't help them make one. And they might, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this over here, which doesn't affect you any. It just makes my world a little more colorful. Go here. Go here. Enter. Do, 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 do. Wah, 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 wah. Move tab to new window. Bonk. And what we'll do, we'll just look. I love to go to their site and look at things, and I haven't had an excuse in a while. Now, we've got some comments while I'm doing this. Let's see. I don't think they have a Halati, but no reason they can't make one. Pricing out custom coin size things. Either I have to order a crazy number of them or pay too much. No one would buy a $60 coin game. You don't know. The game prices for home board games are often in the $50 or $60 for smaller runs, depending on how things go. Anything you can do to make it cheaper is better, but you really should look into it. Don't, and that's why crowdfunding is a wonderful thing. Don't be afraid to get something out. Oops, very OT. No problem. I'm a game designer, folks. I use games to teach tactics. Why wouldn't I love it? And yeah, tell me how that goes, because I have some game design stuff I want to do that's next level, and I'll be tracking down some specific play testers for something once I get through my contract work. No, they do. They do have one. Okay, let me just share. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, cool. The extra camera is up. That's awesome. No, not slides. Share screen. Chrome tab. Purple Heart Armory. Share. Alrighty. Now we'll do this. Hi. I'll start with the proper term and see if it comes up. Yes, okay. They have, wow. Okay. Yes, they have a halati out of that. When you see this sort of, let me get that bigger for you. Doink. There we are. When you see this sort of, that is like an STL file or whatever for the laser cutter that they use. So that's the outline that would be cut in experimental plastic. 50 is probably the price because it's a bit it's a rare item, and that's going to be an odd shipping size if I'm right. Let me see what the sizing says. 19 inches. Yeah, that's going to be about that long. So yes, it's right there. No problem. That's a great thing to do. Okay, now let me just do this because I can do that. We don't need that anymore, do we? Or do we want to? Well, here, we'll do this for now. If we want to go looking around, we can look around. But let's go. Dusty, it's more. Yeah, I'm sorry. I hum weird tunes. Fortunately, it's under 30 seconds, and I'm not trying to impose on anything. Hey, Dusty, welcome to The Strange. Mine's shaped a little different, but it might work as a trainer. Like I said, contact them. If yours is a different breed, they basically go on if it showed up on Forged in Fire, they probably have a trainer of it. And, yep. Hey, Joe! Don't mind the crazy guy lurking in the background. Hey, you are much appreciated and much loved, brother. If you guys can make it, I'd love to see you and Trey down for that practice. If not, I fully understand because you're working midnights trying to make the roads drivable. Folks, slow down for your construction workers. I care about some of them. Hey, Joe, how does it go? Or how goes? Sorry, I added extra for the rhythm. Evening, Joe. See, Cindy Kep says, yeah, I plan to crowdfund. That's the point to making it. Bear will want to crowdfund a huge project, and I need to get my platform improved, but I can't imagine spending more than 20 or 30 on a game if I were shopping. That's one of those, if you can get it that low, definitely. Lower price is always relatively better, but go through the custom independent game thing. People spend a lot of money on new games, freelance games, things like that. It's much like the comic, the independent comic marketplace kind of thing, where you're going to find that interest. And I know, totally off topic, but if I can help a guildie with something they're doing, I'm going to. Let's see what we have. Dusty. Haven't practiced with my Gladius in a couple of years. I hurt my elbow. You were right. Well, you can, or you were bright. Either way, but I'm assuming you were right. You can make a lighter one. There are, depending on what your mobility, if you want to hit me up either through Facebook or Twitter and DM me your situation, I can help you kind of work your way through it. But what you want to do is just keep things very, very light. Light gear, light weapon. You can always add weight later, but it's far more important to learn the body mechanics. I mean, I've taught fencing to people just using their thumbs. Just because as long as you're pointing your thumb at somebody, for most of all, your blade alignment's going to turn out okay, and your let me grab something. Now, Purple Heart did put a nice wrap hilt. I didn't like the grip, so I cut the paracord off. I do things like that. That's just because my hands are a little messed up. I'm going to put a different kind of grip on this. But if I hold this, right, this is a very nice, light trainer, less than a pound. My thumb is where the blade is. The bottom of my thumb is the leading edge, the true edge. I can do the drills with this, and I like this length. This is a good length. It's about 22, 24, I think. But it lets it work very nicely. Using something like this, you get a solid motion. But if you can't hold that and you put your thumb and you just grip like you're poking your thumb, you can go through the body mechanics just the same. We live in a world where the people in power will always seem to try to take systemically the tools of the poor. And that's why PVC is more expensive. That's why wood is more expensive. They want you to have to buy through the systems they want, not make your own. So you have to be creative. But dowel rods, anything light that you work the motion of, you can build back up slowly to being able to hold a proper gladius. But don't think you can't. Don't let we don't have to live in a zero-sum world, and I'm big on that. I train with everything from this is a boffer axe I made. Okay, it's a plastidip-ed, rather sexy boffer axe, I will admit it. But I've run drills with this and stuff. I don't usually fight with it because I consider it a bit of an artsy piece. Homemade trainers, store-bought trainers, knife trainers, sword trainers. Handy dandy pieces of PVC. All these things I've done because it adapts to my situation. Don't be afraid to adapt. Let's see, Joe Bachman, it's waiting for the contractor to show up for the night. Well, that kind of sucks, but you know what? At least you're working at night where it's cooler, and you can 1 second. You don't quite have the horrible heat that's going on. I worry about you guys by the road, though. I know I shouldn't, but I do. Everyone else is doing well. Mantis surgery turned out very well. She's recovering well. It wasn't anything too bad. We can talk later, but she's doing well. I'm setting up to do great. I just have to do some construction projects on my own and figure out how I'm going to make it work, as this last week of heat that would kill Nick if he overdid it. As you can see, I'm quite warm in my study right now because the door got closed and it wasn't connected to the AC. So I'm cooking, but that's okay. Dusty says, start with a practice training sword. Always start with a, I could do more teaching somebody with a stick for somebody who wants it than I can with the greatest training equipment in the world for somebody who's not going to put the time and effort in. And she said, not too bad, a bit of sunburned sorn, but we're recovering. Woo, this scrolled. Give me a second. The Forged in Fire Halati episode was amazing. Isn't it cool they work on a weapon that you like? My problem with Forged in Fire, and I do have a bit of a mildly spicy take, is it's built around very bulky weapons, very slash-oriented power-based weapons. And as somebody who tends to like lighter weapons, there are exceptions, but they don't really quite hit my niche a lot of the time. But it's fascinating to see. Let's see. Trey, I think, might be off. I'll probably be burning the Midnight Ale. Literally, knowing that there's a chance that one of the people in the local guild, in the 100-mile radius we now deal with, could make it, lightens my heart on levels you don't know, Joe. A lot of times doing what I do, it's if you build it, they will come, but you have to sit there kind of nervous. That's the curse of knowledge, Nick, being right too often. You know what? There are huge amounts of time in my life I want to be wrong. I tell people, it is my heart's desire that I am wrong about this. But here's what I'm seeing. Let's see. Thumb or index finger. I used to use the index finger when I was training with sister-in-law because that's how she gripped the handle on the rapier. And yet you can, especially if you, with an index finger is better for pistol grip style fencing swords, especially. I like the flat thumb because it translates more to more weapons at once. I believe in parallel training. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean? Parallel training? Well, I'm a rapierist, right? Rapierist. Hear it out, guys. Don't get funny. I specialize in swords that, look something like, well, this is my favorite. I love this little guy. Boink. This guy. This is a short sword. This is based on a Spanish Bilbao. And that's kind of how they call it. It has another name that starts with a C. My speech impediment is not letting me say it today, and I'm not bastardizing it that bad. But it's based on a colonial infantry broadsword, actually. And I love this weapon. It's light, it's agile, it's short enough that my short self can draw it. And if I had at least 2 tactical grade ones and 2 trainers, I'd be in 7th heaven. But the way I grip that is the same way I grip. Where's my shank? I just saw it. This was my shank trainer. Yes, I made a shank trainer. Why would I make a small, very small shank trainer? I don't know. I have no idea why I would make a small shank trainer. It's a shank. 2 shank. It's a verb. Anyway. It's the same grip. Pop, 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 pop. This is a very traditional line. Now, you can lock it in with a ice pick style grip, and you can train that way. But I like having the thumb for guidance, for teaching folks how to make stuff go. Now, I have a lot of knives who, same. You're going to see this grip frequented. Now, if I have the option of a keyhole grip, which I wouldn't use on this because it's unprotected, but I'll do that, and then you're leading with the raised knuckle of the thumb. That's what points at the bad guy, right there. But you can learn that. And absolutely, Dusty, anything I can do to help anybody recover and get better, that's my niche. That's what I'm about. Adaptive recovering training, helping you find a way to make what systems you know or don't know and work through it. So I dig that. It's my sincere pleasure. That is sort of one of my major life's work. So anytime I can do that, Foxy says you'll get there, Dusty, one step at a time. We'll get that here. We get that here. Yes. Johnny says it's built around Jay breaking blades because the concern with looking strong is can he do a proper test? Hot take. I can live with that. No, not at all. It's great television. And it's a great show. Although Doug Marcaida was once again recently severely injured, there's some risk to it. And that's part of why people watch it. The will it, won't it effect. And stress testing is important in equipment, in styles, in thinking. But I also work towards my personal strength and adapting. I do favor light weapons, so it makes sense for me because I need light weapons to favor light weapons and then train in light weapons because that's what works. I can make a great sword go. I can make a long sword go. I'm all about axes all day. I mean, like hand axes and I are old friends. The first weapon I ever considered myself skillful at for defense was a splitting maul, which is basically a sledgehammer with a axe blade on one side. Let's see. You're too nice to be the other Nick. Okay. I don't know what other Nick it is, but okay, cool. I feel like I missed something, but that's all right. Still looking for proper Tangjin for Foxy. Most of them are too long. Well, trainer wise, boy, that tune is stuck in my head. Anyhow, where are we? Yes, youth, Jin, Bam. Let me see if that. Yes. Oh, that word looks a bit like rapierist. Yes. Got you. Thank you. Yes. Wow. Anyhow, let's bring this up. Now, doink. Let me see if I can get this to do what it's supposed to. But, because I'm all about helping people. $40, which is basic kids. Looks to be, I'm not seeing that it's not in stock, which makes me happy. Let's look at sizing. Oh, this is delightful. Okay, so we're looking at the important part. Weight 1 pound, which I'm sure you can handle. Blade length 23.5. Overall 30 inches. The only trick may be and it's got a downswept guard. So something like this would be perfect for Foxy. And I think it might help. So, oh, that's right, the Tang guard. Well, in that case, I'd say commission it. Let me just go. Bam. We'll go here. And we'll make that big. And if I have to go away with that, we will. I just like to see everything that's going on nicely. Yes, the youth trainer has a Ming King style guard, and she prefers the minimalism of a Tang guard. Yes. And I understand that. I am very much a minimalist. My wife has a sword that Foxy would love, and actually made her a trainer. If I can find her trainer, I can show it off and give you the dimensions, and you can do something like that. Because I think she might like that. And for a trainer, I wouldn't mind it so much. Plus, remember, you can get 30-inch cutting boards. So as long as you have access to some type of saw, and I mean like even a hacksaw or a coping saw, you can make your own trainer if you can't afford the PHA or it doesn't give you what you want. You know, we're all about adjusting for financial patience. But yeah, there's a lot of gear. And actually, you know what? I want to bring that back up. I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to go here. Boom. Because I like to stay on screen. People like it better when I stay on screen. I haven't looked around lately with what's new. So first we're going to go deal of the day. Boom. And see if there's any. Oh! They have chibi decals. I'm sorry. I just geeked out. My bad. Bada shaft. Hickory. Knob is made of solid rubber. Oh, that's kind of nice for shillelagh. I've used those before. I like shillelaghs. And we still have some wheel pommels at $2. My goodness, that's a good deal. I'm tempted on that one myself. Oh, certainly. Certainly, Dusty. Let's go there. You know what? I don't have a lot more on the on tonight because I'm going into just a pinch of overtime, but I'm feeling pretty good, so I'm going to do that. Dusty asks, are there takeaways you can give us about teaching fencing for so long? There are a lot. I've done this a very long time, and what I can say is you need to prioritize learning and learning slow. Because if you practice slow, you'll learn fast. But if you practice really fast, you won't learn what you're doing. You're not focusing. So you always want to start with very slow motion. You want to focus. Fencing is a construction, okay? And for the student, it's from the ground up. First, you learn how to stand. You want to be shoulder width apart, not a lot farther, not a lot narrower. Slight bend at the knees, slight bend at the hips, relaxed. You need to be comfortable here because you're going to live a lot of time. And each step is built in maintaining that structure. This is why we step forward with the foot that's in the direction we're going to go and back that way and gather under us rather than, I don't like gathering first because that leaves you in a topply state. You go from a wide base to a standard base, wide base, standard base. You're more balanced against sudden aggression. Everything focuses on taking attacks off your center line. So all your defense is moving that out. All your offense is to be as efficient and simple as possible because you need to be able to repeat it and you need to understand it. The act of teaching runs the same way. Your foundation is the basics of your own study. I go through the same drills every night, at least that my hands will hold something and that my body moves. I go through the basic guards and some rudimentary combos. I will be doing a video on rudimentary combos in the near future. I just had to have some facilities issues I'm working on. But you build up, and you build towards not the pinnacle, okay? A lot of people race towards having the secret art, the best, the gold medalist, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's your jam. But longevity comes from building the understanding and keeping your foundation solid as you go up. So that's what I really think in whatever you're doing. You're teaching it, you're participating, paying attention, not outrunning your mind. There's the whole no thought, and you work towards it, where a shot comes in, you parry, and you respond. That's because your brain has taught your body what to do so much the brain doesn't have to do it anymore. The body recognizes it. I really believe there's almost like a second brain that lives in your gut, and it tells you things like that. It runs faster than the thinking brain. And that's what lets you know stuff before it happens. Like you get that feeling in your gut, something's right, something's wrong. That's that. And I don't know if it's true, but it's the way I think. So understanding, meeting force with redirection whenever possible, rather than opposing constantly. There's a time where you need to oppose strength with strength, but only when you have no other choice. Because if you can oppose strength with redirection, you have an advantage. Or at least you've negated a disadvantage. So looking at it from these basic mentalities starts to give you a framework. I've read dozens of fencing manuals. I've looked at, I don't know how many styles over the years. And what I found was that between 60 and 80%, they're almost all saying the same thing. So I focused on what they almost all agree on. And I built that as the basis for the simple sword. And from that perspective, I'm diverging to the different weapon styles that kind of mentally tech tree out either before or after, and I can make that work. When you're looking as a student, you want to put your ego aside. You want to put your You can't fill a full cup. So if you think you know how to do it, you need to stress test that and see if you do. And if you don't, you have to let yourself pour what you thought was real out to get something new to see if that works. Test everything. I encourage people, test what I teach you. Test it against your friends. Test it against other people. If it works for you, continue. If it doesn't, find what works for you, and then come tell me so that maybe I can improve my teaching. I pursue mastery. The only reason I take the term sword master is I had no other term that I could find that didn't have implications in another martial art or another field. And I didn't want to claim a rank I hadn't earned. But I've spent years teaching people from I've never held a sword to being able to pass assorted authorizations in different groups to improve, to work around their disabilities, whether they be things like blindness or nerve damage or impairment of some other kind. I feel I've earned my title of Sword Master. And indeed, I'm working towards Weapons Master. And that's where when I'm teaching things like knife fighting and axe fighting, it's all at a basic level. I don't aspire to more than that because my goal is to teach that. I see myself as a Western martial arts primary school. You want to go to college and learn the finer, high-end stuff that you may put some of the techniques you used to use aside. That's fine. But that's my place. My place is to be a footstool helping people to go to the next level. I hope that answers your questions at least somewhat. It's such a broad question, I could probably spend hours just talking about that. This is the reason most Chinese practice forms so slowly is muscle memory will be there when you need the skills to learn the form. Slow and steady. Cindy Kep says, find out what your student already knows. Some of it might need fixing. Some of it might be known already. Some of it might work in some situations, others don't. That's why when I take a new student, I don't approach them like they don't know anything unless I've been given good reason to. I ask them a series of questions, a variant of my do you smell fudge? Where I ask, were you in marching band? Have you had any military training? Have you done flag corps? Have you done martial arts? If so, what? If so, how far? There's a whole, do you have a background in dance, gymnastics, this sort of thing? Because all these different things are pieces that can apply. And from there, I get to tailor how I teach an individual. Now, I do keep a for me strict curriculum, but I figure out where you are on the curriculum before I add it. So I really hope that helps. And what's great is I haven't read the comments ahead as I was talking. I was looking up here, pulling it out of, my mental ether, that I'm hearing people I've worked with and I've discussed with mimic similar sentiments makes me feel a little more comfortable that I am indeed, I'm going to do that, able to work forward. Let's see. Kitty says, I never taught martial arts, but I'm a dance teacher. The best extent just your teaching style to each student. Some people will improve with certain teaching styles. That is the glory of one-on-one education. It's also why here, locally, when I train people, I reserve the right as, the head of this organization, I get them first. This is not an ego thing. Some people have thought it is. It's so that I can assess that they're safe, because the safety of all participants comes absolutely first. They have to be safe. Then they have to want to do it. It has to be fun. And then they have to be skillful. And building on that sort of triad of ideas is how I get somebody started. And once I've evaluated them and I know their interests more, I can contact other people in the guild who, if they're local at the time, I can redirect them to them. And if not, I can redirect them to resources. So if I find somebody who wants to learn karambit, I can contact someone like Steve Clausen or Rex Hood or other really talented karambit practitioners. They've learned this. I've given them the basics. Here, train with them. If you want Meyer style longsword. Not my jam, but I can make it go, or Miles style rapier, which is spelled differently. Just let it go. I can point you to a fellow who goes by Out of the Woods, Ryan Coker. Amazing Meyer practitioner. And say, talk to him. If he can't help you, he'll know someone who can. That's what I try to do. And I hope that helps. Dusty says, thanks, you're the best. Hey, I try. My goal is to help people and help them get better and improve. And part of why I had to leave the organization that I was part of is I refuse to assign organizational boundaries. So if someone is a LARP person and they want to learn a different way of swinging a stick, I'll happily work with them. If there's an Olympic fencer who wants maybe what I have, or they just want a living dummy that we can talk to, we've done that. Kendo guys, SCA heavy fighters, knife guys, sword guys, and I use guys. When I use guys, I mean it in a gender neutral term. Please, I'm old enough in generation. I don't mean that sexist in any way, shape, or form. I just use it as a gender neutral term, much like dude. Dude is everything. I call inanimate objects dude. It's a West Coast thing. But by admitting humbly, like, I'm not trying to say, I'm a grand, I will teach you the secret martial arts, and together we shall rule the galaxy. No, that's not my jam. I'll teach you the basics, help you get better. That's what I want to do. And anytime I can help somebody become a teacher or become a better teacher, that's just giving back more. And that's what I'm about. So it is a pleasure, genuinely, to deal with questions and commentary like this. Let's see. Thesis. I've only been a teacher for a few short years, but in those years I've learned that not everyone has a goal in mind when they start martial arts. Do what you can to help them reach that goal. That everyone has a goal. And some people don't. They want to do it, but they don't know why. And the goals can be the martial arts approach for self-defense rigidly is radically different than tournament or melee. And I do lean towards the melee self-defense side of things because that's where my mentality lives. I see melee combat as a practical training mentality for situational awareness, which is what I overlap. And Dusty says, LOL. Yeah, now, folks, it is 9:13. I try to keep this to an hour because I approach some meds I have to take right after the show. I'm the dude and she's the dude because we're all dudes. Hey, yeah. Anyway, but I hope I don't get in trouble on this one for the singing. I really hope I don't. But I don't think I've been long enough on anything to get in trouble. But yes, my goal is to help you guys. And anytime I can, I will. But we are at the end of the show. So I want to thank you all, especially Dusty. It's great to hear from you. We need to build each other up. So that's what we need to do. I will be doing some announcements next week, assuming some stuff arrives. And thank you. And go do the meds thing, Nick. Have a lovely evening. Be well. Thanks, man. Yeah, I will. I got to sign out. Remind you guys, if you like what I'm doing, consider joining the Historical Fencing Guild's Patreon. $1 a month. Don't worry about the tier settings. I know I have to reprogram them. I have to reevaluate them. But right now, it's just about helping. I do a weekly blog, Cyber Tacto, every Wednesday for them. And they get to see any pre-recorded videos first. Guild members get to request things. That's part of what I do. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. The sharing is important, not because I'm trying to get monetized or anything. I guess that would be groovy, but I'm really here to help people, and the more people who know about it, the more I can help. So that's kind of my goal. We're made possible in part by my work with Luke Stone Studios at lukestonestudios.com, where I've done game design in the Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, the role-playing game. You can actually still buy that in demand. And on Amazon, where you can buy both. Yeah, you knew I had to get one goofed up. the simple sword and the fighting axe, where you can learn the rudiments of both a complete sword play system, intro to armoring, intro to building your own gear, intro to setting up your own list field. This is sort of a one-stop shop that 15 years of work went into to make something that if I got hit by a bus, I knew my ideas would still exist and people could learn and help each other. That's why it's Volume 1. Volume 2 is a much shorter little intro because I was asked to do one on how to fight with a hand axe and axes in general. So I did a very cost-efficient volume using the basis of that to talk about axe fighting. I'm also a game designer, and there are several novels in the Big Stompy Robots universe. I believe that gaming, like sword fighting, should be inexpensive. It should be easy to learn and fun. So you'll find that there. There's a whole world in this book. I'm very proud of it. And the two novellas, the Eyes to the Sky and Small Arms, I'm going to do more with that universe very soon. Yes. Let's see. We got some more chats. Don't forget to like. Thank you. Night all. It's always appreciated that I can come back and ask questions and be a noob and not get... There will be no hate. That's one thing. Y'all, if I see that, I will boot people off the channel. You know, mighty swings the banhammer, just may it live, you know? So you never have to fear that. And if I hear something, like seriously, if people are giving flack, let me know. I won't stand for that. LOL. We were looking into that earlier. Okay. I read it as we were looking at that earlier. Cyber taco. Tacto is the term for the information you get when two swords are in contact. According to the Spanish systems, you can tell a lot by the pressure, the angles, and you can really feel the intent once you've done it a while of your opponent simply through the point where the two swords meet. So that's why I call it cyber tacto, because it's a point where we digitally exchange ideas. And I like taco. I like tacos. I'm a big guy. And we can ask you questions without fighting. Axe away. Oh, I'm dyslexic too. That's part of I'm formerly ADD, ADHD, and dyslexic. You're in good company, darling. Don't worry about that. But folks, with that, I'm going to ask you guys, do your drills. Keep your guard up. Be kind to yourself and each other. And always, folks, thank you for supporting your local sword master. Yes, but you're strong in other ways, Cindy. We love you.